When the dead say goodbye. Amanda told me this story. You don't have to believe the story, but it was, and still is, so very real to me. I want to tell you about the first time I saw a ghost. Yep, me, the non-believer, the skeptic, the one who always laughed at those ghost hunting shows online. But after this, let's say I stopped laughing. I'd just started working as a nurse aide at a small nursing home in the South Island of New Zealand. It was a cosy little place, old-fashioned but in a comforting kind of way. The residents were lovely and I loved my job. There was one woman in particular who stood out to me. Her name was Gertrude, but everyone called her Gertie. She was 97 years old and sharp as a tack. She'd come to New Zealand from England when she was in her early 20s, and she used to tell me the most incredible stories about her childhood. Her father was a lamplighter in London, and she'd worked painting porcelain for the Royal Doulton Fine China Company. Can you imagine that? Painting actual china for the Queen of England and painting it with your own hands. Gertie and I got close. She was like a grandmother to me. She had this warm way about her, always offering little pearls of wisdom and making me laugh. But as the weeks went by, she started getting weaker, and then she got sick. I was devastated. Watching her fade away, bit by bit, it broke my heart. And one evening, as I was sitting by her bedside, she took my hand and made me promise I'd be there when her time came. I told her I would, of course. I meant it. The day she passed away is burned into my memory. It was a cold, rainy Friday. The wind howled and the rain slapped against the windows like it was trying to get in. I was on the evening shift and Gertie was slipping fast. She barely opened her eyes. Her breathing was shallow. Something in my gut told me she wouldn't last the night. I went home after my evening shift with a heavy heart, tossing and turning all night. Then, at around 5 a.m, I woke up suddenly, my chest tight with this awful, gnawing feeling. I just knew. Without thinking, I jumped out of bed, threw on my uniform and raced to work early. I wasn't even supposed to be there yet, but I didn't care. I had to see her. As soon as I stepped into the nursing home, I felt something was off. It was quieter than usual, as if the whole building was holding its breath. I walked up the hallway toward Gertie's room, my stomach in knots. And then I saw her. Gertie. She was standing at the end of the hall right before me. But she didn't look sick or frail. She had a soft smile, her arms outstretched like she was reaching for me. I froze. My heart stopped. My brain couldn't make sense of what I was seeing, and then she walked toward me and right through me. It was like stepping into ice water, a cold that wasn't just skin deep. It cut straight to my bones. I spun around, but she was gone, just gone. Shaking, I ran the rest of the way to her room. I knew what I would find, but it still hit me like a freight train. There she was, lying peacefully in her bed, her hands folded neatly over her chest. She had passed away 30 minutes earlier. I stood there, trying to process what had just happened, trying to convince myself I'd imagined it, but I hadn't. I knew what I'd seen. I knew what I'd felt. She had been waiting for me. She had come to say goodbye. To this day, I think about Gertie, especially in the spring when the daffodils start blooming. They were her favourite flowers. And sometimes, when I walk down a quiet hallway in the nursing home late at night, I feel a soft, warm presence watching over me. Maybe it's just my imagination, or maybe, just maybe, she never really left.